I'm Ann Simmons, reporting from the newsroom of the Los Angeles Times. In recent weeks, deadly protests and political unrest have rocked Egypt. More than 1,000 people, mostly supporters of deposed President Mohamed Morsi, have been killed in raids and other violence. Morsi remains in detention, while former President Hosni Mubarak was freed from prison on bail and is now under house arrest in a military hospital. The crisis in neighbouring Syria has dominated US national headlines, but the situation in Egypt remains volatile, as the Times' Cairo Bureau Chief, Fleishman, joins me to explain. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Anne.
Jeff, first of all, just bring us up to date. What is the situation like on the streets today? Is there still fighting, or has it subsided?
The violence has subsided over the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, it was really bad. The military is taking really harsh control of the country. There's emergency law and there are curfews. And the Muslim Brotherhood, which had controlled the country before the coup that overthrew Morsi in July, is really running scared. Much of their leadership has been arrested, and many others have gone into hiding. So it's a real clampdown state here, controlled solely by the military.
So the military actually is in charge then, is that right?
Yes, you have an interim government here that was appointed by the military, but that's basically refracting what the military desires and wants to have happen on the ground. The real person running the country right now is General Sisi, who's commander of the armed forces, who instigated the coup against Morsi on July 3rd. And decided to really clamp down on the Muslim Brotherhood, and they framed it as really a battle between the Islamists and the patriotic Egyptians who don't want political Islam to be present in the country.
Tell us about the fate of both of the deposed presidents, both Morsi and Mubarak.
Well, Morsi's fate, we know he's in custody. We haven't heard or seen from him. He's been charged with espionage, which many people believe is a politically motivated charge to keep him in prison and to further discredit him from ever returning to power. Mubarak's situation is different. It's less certain than we thought. 2 years ago, when he was arrested for complicity in the murder of protesters in the uprising against him, we thought it seemed like he would be convicted of murder, and in fact he was, but that verdict was overturned, and now he's on retrial. And many legal experts say the evidence really isn't there this time to convict him. So we could possibly see Mubarak getting out of jail or getting out of his house arrest before the end of the year.
And what kind of impact is this crisis having on the economy, in particular on tourism in Egypt?
Tourism is suffering, and it has been suffering since 2011. And it's one of the mainstays, one of the pillars of the Egyptian economy, and it's also an extremely important pillar to Egypt's stature and notoriety in the international community. So the country really needs to desperately fix its economy, convince tourists that it's safe, there's not rocks in the streets, there's no more tear gas and bullets. But that seems a long way away.
And just to wrap up, Jeff, what's your prognosis? Where do things go from here?
I think in the short term, the military's grip on the country will remain. There'll be some loosening up, but not much. The Brotherhood will remain to be on the run. It seems that the military and the new government really want to crush it. In the long term, we have deeper problems. You have an extreme Islamic contingency in Sinai and other places that feel betrayed by what happened to Morsi. They feel that the Islamists won the presidency, and now they were stripped of it by the military. So there's real anger out there, and the threat of future terrorism and militantism is strong in the distance.
Thank you so much for your insight, Jeff.
Sure.
For more on these and other stories, please go to latimes.com.